meeting is being recorded.
Hello, all you good people. Welcome to the Mother Eagle Blossom Show. This is your host, Helen Sarita, greeting you a pleasant good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to wherever part of the world you are. I am so thrilled to introduce the beautiful poetess from India to you guys, the famous one, Miss Vandita Dharni. Hello, dear. How are you?
Hello, Helen, and thank you so much for that glowing introduction. I don't know
You're
if I deserve it
surprised.
that much. And thank you so much for welcoming me on your show. Such a warm welcome. And I'm so honored to be here. It's a pleasure and an honor for me, and truly grateful. Thank you.
Yeah, because you have just launched your book. But before that, before discussing about your book, let me read your impressive bio. Okay.
Yes.
Vandita Dharni is a published poet and hails from an eminent family of educationalists. She currently resides in Chandigarh, India. She has earned many distinctions in the literary field. However, in her academic pursuits, she raised the bar by topping the University of Allahabad at the postgraduate level in English. Thereafter, she earned a PhD degree in American literature from the same university. She has submitted articles, poems, and short stories that have been published in journals such as Criterion, Rumination, Gnosis, Hellbound Publishing House, Borderless Journal, RIC Journal, and international isms like Imagine and Poesia, Synchronized Chaos, Guido Guzano, Silver Birds Press, Raven Cage, Setu, Fasihi Magazine, PSL Rose 8 Sonnets Anthology, Air Poetry Archive. I'm also a member there. Primer Antología de Poetas del Proyecto de Unamos al Mundo con la Poesía, Mexico. Pole Art, Albania, and Inner Child Press, USA. She achieved the fruit of her dreams when she published 3 solo anthologies, Quintessential Outpourings, The Oyster of Love, and Ripplings of Her Chores within a span of 4 years. Her latest contributions include the Roseate Sonnet Anthology and Breath Poetry Anthology. She has co-edited anthologies such as The Petals of Peace and the Rudy Ravens, Cheshire Cats and Rusty Rats, to name a few. She has also reviewed several poems on poetry sites such as Cultural Reverence and Poetry Review on Facebook. She has been honored with the Poetic Galaxy Award 2018 by the Literati Cosmos Society, the Rabindranath Tagore Award, the World Poetic Star Award 2019 by the World Nations Writers Union, and several others. She's also an administrator of 3 poetry groups on Facebook: How to Write for Success, Literary Forum, Reflections of Life in Poetry, and Literary Criticism and Theory. What an impressive one.
Thank you, Helen. Thank you so much.
So you're very much known. Your name is very much known to the poetic arena.
I am grateful to the Almighty for all the
That's
blessings
true.
that He showers. It's very humbling.
That's true. So how many books have you published already?
Well, to be honest, my poetic journey began in the year 2016 when I published my first collection, which you just mentioned. 2016, I published Quintessential Outpourings, and then the journey just, it was a roller coaster journey for me. So I have been, since 2016, I have been very active writing, and this is going to be my fourth book, which I've just published a fourth book. So I've done three before
Wow.
this.
Oh, I wish I could reach four. I have published also two books in 2016.
And
So,
of course, it's wonderful, Helen. I know you for, I think now 4 or 5 years. We've been friends
yeah,
on Facebook, and I know
that's
what an
true.
amazing poet you are as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And
And
then,
Helen,
I'm
apart from
sorry.
these books, I've also co-authored some books. So it's like these are my independent
Yeah,
anthologies. And apart from
anthology.
that, I've also co-authored many
Yeah,
books, and two of them are
that's
Amazon
nice.
bestsellers. You know, Rosette's Sonnet Anthology and The Ruddy
Rosette,
Ravens,
yeah.
which you
So
just
that's
read out.
wonderful. So,
Yes.
what is the title of your book again? Do you have
Oh,
your
my
book
book.
in your?
I do have the book with me. I
Please
can
do
show it to
it.
you. It's
Yeah. Oh, the
Oh,
An
that's my
Alchemy
book,
of
An
Musings.
Alchemy of Musings. Yes.
Wow. So what is that
So
about? Can
I'm
you
very
tell us what
excited.
is that about? Is that more on poetry or what is
Yes,
that
it's
about?
actually it's basically a book of 80 poems. And
Wow.
let me tell you, this is my best yet. It's
Oh,
my best yet, and it's taken me 2 years to write this book, 2 years.
two
And I think I took
years.
full advantage of the pandemic,
Oh
because
yeah,
the
yeah, the
COVID
product
times,
of
we were all in a
the
lockdown.
COVID-19.
Yes, and I thought, why not? I felt so inspired to write at that time because it gave me more time, to introspect and to write and to
Yes.
ink my thoughts.
Yes.
So these are 80 poems, and I've got 55 of the just poems, and then the rest, I've written 7 Rosette sonnets.
That's
That's an actually
wonderful.
form. It's a form that's been pioneered by Dr. Ampat Koshi. He's the one who's actually pioneered this form, Rosette sonnets. And I've written 7 Rosette sonnets, and there are 5 prose poems as well. So 80 in all.
All all is 18. What is there in the book that you have to convince people to buy it? Is that inspirational poetry?
Well, see, this is like a trajectory, I would say. This book is like I'm opening out my life in front of people, and there are lots and lots of my own personal. Some of them, I won't say, not all of them are not autobiographical, because I have drawn inspiration from from multiple sources. So there's nature, there's life, there's even the pandemic happening. Then there's the I've drawn inspiration from poets, from novels, so from different sources, and I think
Yeah.
it's really quite an amalgamation of all, I mean, diverse, I would say diverse themes, so
It's really a
I'm
good
very
diversion
excited about it.
from, from fearing from pandemic. So you can focus on our writing, our passion,
Yeah,
right? And now we have
exactly.
another thing that we are facing for the war. So we need to
Yes.
write.
So
Yeah.
absolutely, I mean, my poetry is very, very soothing also. Some of it you'll find it's very lyrical also. So it's a mix. It's a mix, I would say.
Yeah.
There is a little bit of everything for every kind of reader, So,
There's a balance. Not all about
yes,
love, not all about inspirational, everything that
yes,
that comes
because
from
I
your
feel
mind, that comes from your heart.
yes, because if we keep it too narrow and too theme
Yeah,
based, then it gets monotonous. So I didn't want
that's
it to be
true.
monotonous. I wanted it to be different, to be something which people would connect with, and
Yes.
it would be spontaneous. That was
And
more than
then
anything
it's
else.
also a challenge on our part that we can write anything, right?
Exactly. I mean, poetry. That's what poetry is all about. If
That's
we
true.
try to put ourselves in some kind of a very tight compartment, or constrain
Yeah,
our thoughts, we try to constrain our thoughts, what happens is we lose out on the creativity.
yeah,
And our
that's
creative vision
creativity.
is very important, I think, for
Trying
poetry.
another genre and all. So it's
Yes,
exposing our talent, our skill.
absolutely.
If we can do what
Yes,
they can do, right?
exactly. Yeah.
So I'd like to ask, what the poets can, do you think, can contribute to the world to promote peace and love? How do the poets can bridge nations for unity?
Well, like they say, the pen is mightier than the sword, and I think that's so true. Poets with their poetry, with their words, when they ink their thoughts on paper, it carries much more weight than a sword or a gun or anything. And I
So,
think it touches people's hearts in a way that guns and wars can never do. So I think
yes,
it's really important, because we ultimately there's a goodness in every human being. I believe that. And so we
that's
need to
true.
explore that. We need to tap into that goodness. And how can we do that? Not with guns and wars, but with love, emotions, poetry. Poetry is a beautiful medium of expression, I feel, because you can just convey your thoughts. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be adulterated. It doesn't have to be, in any way, you're not try to, camouflage it. You're just spontaneous. You're just flowing over
Yeah,
there. So that's
it's just
important.
flow, cascading from your
And
heart. It is a
exactly. And
travel
I
of
believe,
our soul, a journey.
poets have a responsibility to the world. I
I
believe
believe
we're
so.
like the apostles of peace. We are like
Yes,
the
that's true.
apostles of peace,
We can
and
turn
we
our pen to being an instrument, not a gun, not a missile, but through our pen, we can bridge nations. We can promote peace and unity and love.
absolutely, and we can,
Actually,
we can
yeah,
help break the divides, any kind of divides, whether it's social, economic, ethnic, racial. All these divides can be broken with poetry. When poetry flows, you know it's something
because
like music. It's like music. uh, Everyone appreciates it, and that
that's
breaks
true.
all other barriers and
And it's
divisions.
powerful. Our words are
Oh,
powerful. So we can
absolutely, I
change
so
people. We can inspire people. And,
yes,
I thought of doing an anthology that in every country, from every country, there will be one person to you know contribute. This is about peace, and then not only it will not be only disseminated in all poets, but we have to give that to to the leaders of our country so that it will touch them.
oh, absolutely. I think that would be a
Yeah,
wonderful initiative, a wonderful
I
initiative.
love that.
I think,
I
Helen,
am
you should
thinking of
actually
that,
think,
and
yeah,
you will have to contribute.
oh, I'd love
Yeah,
to. It would be a
yes,
pleasure and an honor for me. I would love
it's
that.
it's brilliant idea because we can ask poets like from any country that this is our plea, that we need to we need to be united, we need to be
Yes,
one. So if we are going to buy, because poets are only the one who are interested with poetry book, why not give to the offices, our
absolutely.
our leaders, so that they can read our works, they can feel our hearts, they can feel our need, that we need peace. So if they're
Yeah.
having hatred, it will mellow down.
Yes. And I think that poetry is a beautiful medium to do that. It's
That's
a
true.
wonderful yes. I think that's a wonderful idea. Helen, you
You
must
know,
go
I
ahead
learned
with
from
that.
my one of the members of the Filipino poets, actually, yeah, member, and he said because sometimes poets are also shy because they express, you know, they express through writing. They are good in writing, not all, but mostly they are, you know, a bit shy to talk. So so we need that is why that our words are really powerful, because we can express that's from our hearts. So I know it
Absolutely.
can touch people.
Yes, and
It can mellow down hatred. So
it can,
we
it can. It can establish and it can, establish a peaceful, I would say, it can also create some sort of a reconciliation between nations. I think
that's
if the
true.
world actually starts reading, a lot of the problems would get solved, people wouldn't have
That's
the hatred and the animosity and wars would never exist because people would become more sensitive, just like I think poets are we're very sensitive individuals, Helen. I feel
that's
that there's a lot of sensitivity in poets which you don't find, it's a very rare quality.
because, you know,
But I
we gained a lot of friends through our writing. They know our
think
attitude. They know our attitude because of our writing. We don't need to say this is Helen. I am this like that, and I am having like this. You don't need to say like that because
no,
in
no,
your writing
yeah,
they can feel your heart. So that
they can
is
feel
very
you.
important. That we have to write good
Yes,
things.
I think so too. Yes.
So that's nice. It's really we need also to think. You know, we need also to plan diligently so that we can reach what we are needing, the peace that we need in our country and in the world.
Oh, yes. And I think it's important. And firstly, I believe that peace is something that it has to exist within you. And if it exists within you, then only you're going to be able to reflect it and exude it and, spread it among the other people around you. If
That's
you don't have the inner peace, then you will not be able to communicate it and you'll not be able to express it in your writings and you'll not be able to influence the world uh, as well. So it's very important to have that inner peace also, I think.
yeah, because you know, poets around the world, when we read their works, when we listen to them, we can say that, oh my God, there are a lot of beautiful people around the world. There are a lot
Yes,
of good hearts around the world. So that is very important. So we have to be very thankful that we have skills, we have talents given by
yeah,
God, like this
absolutely.
talent.
I'm a strong Christian. I don't believe that any religion is to
That's true.
be put down or something. But I am a Christian, and I believe that God, in our religion also, and in every religion, I think God is love. God is
That's
love.
true. There's no such
And
thing as there. God is only in that religion. There are He's
yes,
everywhere.
He's
So
everywhere.
any
He's
religion,
omnipresent. He's omnipresent. And I think when God is Himself, when love is emanating from God, then I think we as humans need to follow His example. We need to follow Him. And that's important.
yeah, we need to discard our division because of
Yes.
culture, because this of this color of our skin and our beliefs. We need to you to shout for oneness, and let's use that our pen disseminate to for the calling of unity in this world, because through that we will not be just relying on the pastor and the priest. We have our we need ourselves to contribute, not rely on them. So
Absolutely. And I think, yes, and I think the world at the moment also, it's grappling with a lot of issues. If we notice, there's not just the war, everyone's been struck with the pandemic. If not, them, then their families or their extended families. There have been, like they say, the end of the world is near. And we all have to accept that. But then at the same time, we should not lose hope, because God is there to protect us. Ultimately, He's our Father, and we have to, you know, uh, use the talents that He's given us. And I think if we are creative people and we are poets, we are writers, we are authors, I think we should definitely reflect that element of peace in our poetry and
yeah,
love and all
I
the
really have a strong
compassion.
conviction that poets can, or any writers, even not poets, can really change the world
Oh,
by their
yes, we are
writing.
the apostles of peace, like I told you. And I think it's poets who can really contribute to quite an extent to bring about peace.
Now I feel that I am really proud and grateful that I am a poetess.
Yes, I think we are all, God has brought us here for a purpose.
Yeah,
And I
that's true. I
believe that
feel good
I,
in this
I believe
conversation.
I feel connected to you already, although we are miles apart, we're
There's a
miles away.
spiritual connection.
There's that connect, immediately that beautiful smile that you
That's
reflect.
true. Thank you. Thank
So
you.
beautiful. I think you're a
Because
beautiful person inside out.
thank you. Because sometimes, Miss Vandita, when we publish a book and then we edit the book and we feel that the book also touches our lives, and then it's like reading Bible that we need to stop and we give our insights, the reflection of what we have read. It's really good. It's really good to publish very inspirational books, because it will transfer to you. We are not just publishing, we are also absorbing the words of the writers. And that's why I'm writing a book using our mother tongue, because I believe that not only those people who can speak English or can understand English needed to be
Yeah,
touched by your words. How about those people who
absolutely.
cannot speak English and cannot understand? So that's why I said I have to tell them what I have learned from other writers and also from my own experience, because it is just like also reading Bible, that there you can reflect of what you have
So,
read. So
so
can
true.
you
In fact,
imagine
yes,
of how
in
many
India we
people?
had, yes, when you're talking about people, it reminds me that, we in India had a major, major crisis, and that was the migrant laborers. I don't
Yeah,
know whether you must have read about it, I guess. A lot of migrant laborers, who poor things, basically their homes they were living in villages. So from those villages, they come to the cities to earn a livelihood, because in villages,
just the
probably
same
they
here.
don't have those means to be able to support their families. So they have to move to the cities. And now, when the pandemic hit them a couple of years ago, poor things, their livelihood also, they was just suddenly sacked out of their jobs. They were homeless, they were jobless, and then they had to walk back because they could not commute in the public transport because that had also been,
My
stopped.
goodness. So how hard.
So no trains, no buses, nothing. They had to walk miles with their little children on their backs, and it was very
Yes.
sad. It was pathetic.
It's
And
very sacrificing and very, difficult. Their situations, are so
very,
difficult.
very crippling situation they went through. And believe you me, my heart went out to them. And I have written about them as well because I think, something we need to include a lot of what's happening around the world as well. I have written about a person even, being killed in America. So I've picked up, something from the day-to-day world also, something I've read over the news, and that's touched my heart. So I believe that we need to bring our voice and the voice of the person, the voice of the person who's the victim here. We need to also bring that voice to the
Yes.
world. We need to show the
Yes.
world that,
Yes. Yes.
this is what is, it's not all hunky dory. Life is not just a bed of roses, but
Yes,
there's
that's
so
true.
much more happening.
Yeah,
And
we need to use what we could help, because when like for example, you can see people who are sacrificing their lives. You can see that they have good houses, but because I have experienced that, but they don't have
yes,
food to eat because of the
yes,
situation. So I said, this is my sacrifice for myself. I have something to eat, but I have to give myself. I need to give myself in doing like this, because, by
yes.
bringing people like you, good people to the world, there's a force, there's a power that we can touch people's lives.
Yes, and I believe sometimes God uses us
Yeah.
as his instruments.
Sometimes I pray that, God, you can use me whatever you want to. It's just
Yes.
like that.
Yes, a lot of my friends, my colleagues, they approach me and they say, "Why don't you write about this and why don't you write about that?" But I think it's your inner calling. There's something when it really moves you. That's when you want to write about that thing. It's not because someone tries to impose something or tell you, no, you've got to write this or got to write.
Yeah, yeah,
I can never write like that. I've got to be very fluid in my writings, very
yeah.
fluid, very spontaneous, and it's got to touch
That's
my
true.
heart. I think.
Because I think I cannot even imagine, did I write this? But I believe that there's someone who guide me to do that.
Yes. And
Yeah,
coming to my book, An Alchemy of Musings, I wanted to also share with you that, it's been a
please do,
wonderful
please
journey
do.
because,
Can you share one of your poems there, or
oh,
even two if
definitely,
you
I will
want to?
definitely,
Yeah.
I'll read one out to you. So, I was writing this during the National Poetry Month. It's called NaPoWriMo. You might be writing for NaPoWriMo as well. A lot of poets do. That's National Poetry Month. So
Okay.
it's like April. April is the NaPoWriMo month. And I wrote for two, I would say one consecutive month. This was in 2019 and then 2020. So I was like writing in the month of April. I wrote 30 poems, one poem every day, because you'd get those poetry prompts. So the poetry prompts would come and I would write. And I think that was something that, sometimes you get prompts and they're so, they also make you, they challenge you to kind of look beyond, you
Yeah,
know, and go
yeah,
out of your comfort zone. You have a
yes,
comfort zone
that's true.
sometimes, and you feel, oh,
Yeah.
this is my comfort zone, and I don't want to explore something beyond that.
No,
But this is,
we
these
have
are,
to
you
explore
have to.
ourselves. Mm.
And that's what I would say, that's what's birthed this book. This book has been a product of that
So
labor.
that's a
This is the
very,
labor of love, I would call it.
yeah.
It's
I,
my
I I
labor of
I
love.
have an interest to buy that book.
Oh, you must. I'm going to definitely be sharing. And this will be available on Kindle as well. Right
That's
now, we're coming out
nice.
with a print version. I think
Let
it
me
will be
know.
available in 2 or 3 days on Amazon. It's going to be available in 2 or 3 days on Amazon.
Okay, that's very
And
nice.
yes, and after a few weeks, they're going to put it on Kindle as well. So you'll
Oh,
have it on
that's
Kindle. So
nice.
anybody from anywhere, any part of the world can order
Yeah.
this book. It's going to be available.
So
You can
please
just
read
download it.
one of your favorite
Oh,
there.
definitely. I'll read you. I'll read you Shards of Love.
Wow, I
Shards of
like the
Love.
title.
Yes. On that bridge lie shards, piercing feet of captivity deep, etching scars upon my heart. When I tread upon cobblestones, dust licks off blood that splatters in eyeballs of the sun, but the splinters remain embedded in my feet. They impale grouchily, flickering as faded beams within a waxen chambered heart. Drumbeats of a woodpecker pecking at my heart drills out verses that nestle there. I yank the woodpecker from my dream. What does he want now? My heart is his, battered and scattered across the verdant valley that blossoms love. Mystical murmurs of the rivulet carry a melody yonder to the azure, wrapping a heart bandaged, stitched in a motley coat of carnations. I reclaim it after all these years, yet it still breathes, severed in two. Uh, so this was published, it's been published earlier in the Fasihi magazine also, and I have given credits.
Splendidly right. Very nice. Splendidly written.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I believe that the beginning of a poem and the end of the poem is extremely important. Sometimes you give a twist to the end of your poem, and that's what makes it even more beautiful. So that is something that,
I
of course,
understand.
glad.
So nice.
Yes,
And I can see that you're really brilliant. You're a good poetess. Very
thank you so
nice.
much. Thank you. You made my day, you made my day, and you bring a smile on my face.
Thank you. Painting a smile on our faces. That is our
Yes.
conversation. And is your family supporting you in your passion to write?
My family is very, very
Of
supportive,
course,
I
they
would
are
say.
very, very proud of
Um,
you
you know,
also.
they're very proud of me, my husband
Yeah.
especially, and he's
Your son, I
always,
think, is already, grown up. I saw
my
you with
kids are
your
grown up.
son.
Yes, they're grown up now. They're 20 and 21. So they're
Oh
grown up
my
boys.
God. Yeah, I
Yes.
saw him in your
They're now going to
photo.
college. In fact,
Yeah.
that's one reason why I'm writing, because now I'm free also. I
Yeah,
do
unlike
work.
when
I'm
they were
working.
just little kids.
I'm working otherwise, I'm working, so I have to juggle between a lot, my work, my family, my writing. There's a
Yeah,
lot I'm juggling with. But I think my family is being very supportive. So Helen, there are days when I don't even go into the kitchen, sometimes when I'm writing, and they understand, So in India, we are lucky. We have a lot of domestic help also in India. I don't know about the other countries, but in India, we have that advantage. So I do have this very lovely person who comes over. She helps out. So that way, I can focus more on my writing.
that's
So it's a lot of
nice.
that entire support system that I have at home is important for me.
That's
That's how I've
nice.
been able to, write so much and be a
If we have
prolific writer.
support from them, it takes time when we write.
Yeah.
And even in my case, because I do a lot of travel because of the business, but then everywhere I have
Yes.
to, bring my anything that I sometimes when I am going to the bank and waiting for my turn. I write, I write, I judge, and sometimes I post certificates. I like that
Yes.
because
And
you have to make use of our
the
time.
the craziest part is, Helen, we as poets, I don't know whether you've experienced it, but I have experienced it in my life that, while I'm sometimes just sitting outside, or I'm probably just, about to turn into sleep, to bed, to go to sleep at night, or
Mhm.
in the morning, early morning, I'm waking up, or I'm doing some errand. Suddenly I get these thoughts, certain ideas flow, and I just immediately have to go and pen them down. I don't know whether
Yeah,
you have that.
yeah.
Yes.
Actually, many also poets who share the same thing with me. Because, poetry may be running in our blood. It's the part of our system. So even if we can
Yes.
just write, even we are closing our eyes, we do.
Yes. Yes, and suddenly you get these thoughts, and they kind of haunt you till you actually ink them on paper. They'll keep haunting you. That write
Yeah.
me now, write me. Come on,
Simply
put
maybe
me down.
because we were born writer.
Yes, I think probably. Sometimes when you're cooking also, you get this line in your head, or these words keep floating in your mind, and they want
Because
an identity.
that's the sign that we are being used to write good poetry. So
Yes.
other than poetry, what are the things you are passionate about?
Oh, there are a lot of things I'm passionate about, Helen. As when I was a child, I
Okay.
was very fond of music and painting. And as I grew up, I realized that there's that creative. I think when we are creative people, just it's like when if you're a writer, you've got to either be a good poet or a good singer also along, or
Yeah.
probably a good painter, artist as well, so all these things are kind of interlinked, I feel. So
Yes.
there's an artist in me, there's a singer in me also. And
Yeah.
of course, I'm more of
Maybe
a bathroom
because
singer,
we
I'd say. I'm more of a
are
bathroom singer.
embedded with arts, we are very
Yes.
passionate with arts.
Yes, yes.
Mm.
And apart from this, I also am very fond of, public speaking. So I'm working in a school, I teach grade 10 boys and girls. I
Okay.
teach grade 10, and I'm teaching them Shakespeare and everything. But apart from that, we also have this debate club. We have a
Oh,
club
I
in our
like
school,
that.
and I'm like the head of the debate club. So I'm training my children, my students, to become good public speakers. So I
That's
I do a
nice.
lot of training, for public
That's
speaking.
nice.
And also, I'm even writing. I'm doing the editorial part of the magazine of our school. So I'm like the editor there, one of the editors. So I'm doing a lot of
I can
creative
invite
things.
also. I can invite you also if you can pass an article, a poem for our Blossoms Journal magazine because I publish a
I would
magazine,
love to. Oh,
Blossoms
it would be a
Journal.
pleasure.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that. Oh,
Send your
definitely.
because when I read your bio, oh my God, she's yeah sending contributing articles to this kind of magazines. Maybe I need to invite her also to write. Yeah, we will be having
Yes, and then,
issue this coming March, and you
oh,
can
wonderful.
send me your article. Yeah.
Oh, surely. You just said, let me know whatever the theme is, or if is it theme based, or is it just we can post anything,
No, for
or do you have
now,
a
in
theme?
this issue, our team is goldies are all these are goldies are oldies. It's just like that. Oldies are goldies. It's
Nice,
just because
lovely.
the cover is a retired teacher and she won during our in the Filipino Poets and Blossoms. She won the modeling. So it's a bit
Yes,
delayed because of publications and many things that keep us busy. So the issue will be this coming March or end of March. So try to
Send it quickly.
send your yeah, so that I
Oh,
can pass
yes.
there.
So can I send a poem as well? Or does it have to be, can be a poem as well? Or
Yeah,
an
it's a
article?
poetry magazine actually.
Poem.
It's for poetry.
Okay.
In
All
the
right.
contest, those who have got gold are published in there. So that's
Oh,
very, you will love the magazine.
oh, I'd love to
Actually,
send it.
the
Yes.
second issue, the cover was the admins of the Passion of Poetry in our second
Oh,
issue. Yeah. So that's
okay.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I
really
probably didn't get to know maybe because I would have definitely liked to send in
Yeah,
one.
we only do that every quarter, the issue, the frequency.
Oh, oh, that's nice. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, you must let me know whenever. And I'm connected to your group as well,
Yes.
Mother Blossoms group. So I'm going to definitely be following you
Oh
and
yeah.
checking all
I
your
saw you.
all
I
the
saw your
lovely
post that
posts.
you're launching your book, and I said, "Oh, I promised Vandita because during the time that you were there in my interview with Mom Florabelle, Lachman.
Yes,
So I
yes.
said, I'm gonna be interviewing you. So I remember that because, after those pending interviews that I have promised that to interview, I will be focusing of those authors who published with us. Because I
Oh,
need, of
that's nice.
course, I need, of course, to advertise them.
Of course. Oh, yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
So
Oh, but
I always remember who are the people or the poets that I have told that I'm going to interview them. I have to finish them all.
in
That's it.
fact, I was waiting, Helen. I used to think that Helen did tell me that she's going to interview
Yeah,
me.
I told you,
I'm not
but
getting any messages or calls from her. So I was, in a way, I was anticipating that I know she will definitely
yeah,
approach
the
me
more I
some
got
way.
ignited
Yes.
because after seeing you posting your launching, so I said I'm going to help you with this interview. I'm going to tell about your
Yes.
launching, about your book. So this is very good timing, right? Because before, if
Oh,
we did that,
perfect.
the book is not yet ready.
Yes, I mean, I have a lot of hope from this book because this book is, I told you, like it's my best, and I really think that it should reach the world, and uh, people must people must be given a chance to read this book, and then they'll realize that it has got quite a, it is very impactful, so,
That's
and it
true.
needs to
Yeah,
reach an audience. It needs to reach an
that's true.
audience.
You are
And the best
confident
part is
because you're the
because,
one writing it.
yes,
Only
and because,
what you have to do is to convince people that this is my book. You need to buy this. You need to read
yes,
this.
yes, be
Oh,
kind, yes, be loving, show lots of love to me, and buy my book. That's what I
yes,
tell the world.
that's it.
And
Anyway,
it's value for money, Helen. It's value for money because I've kept the price really less. It's low, it's
yes, that is
affordable.
very important because
Yes, it's not
nowadays
very
it's really
expensive.
hard. Money is really
Exactly.
hard.
Yes, and I know because I know with this pandemic times,
Yeah,
with the COVID-19 and everything, I
that's
think
why.
people,
Yeah,
need to have, readable stuff which is affordable. It should be something that is affordable also. So I've
affordable.
told my
That's why
publisher, yes,
the important is the content.
yes. And you're
That's the
getting 80
important.
poems, and it's just in Indian rupees, it's coming to 200 rupees, Indian rupees.
That's
So if
nice.
you, it's very
How much
cheap.
is that?
It's, oh,
Okay.
I don't know how much it would be.
You
We'll have to convert to
in
see.
dollars,
You,
yeah. In dollars, it's
yes, it's
easy
not
for
much
me
at
to
all.
convert.
It's very reasonable, very
Very
affordable, and
affordable.
you
That's
just pay for
nice.
your yes, the transportation is what you pay for basically. The book otherwise is very affordable.
That's great. That's very important. And I'm going to ask you that because, in your exposure in the poetic arena, what was your amazing or let's say unique or worst, even worst experience that you can never forget and why?
Well, I had two, I would say two very, one is not related to poetry. One was
Okay.
that I just lost my mother 4 years ago to cancer, and that was something that I mean, I think I miss her every single day of my life. There's not a day that I don't miss her. And this book happened because I was lonely. I felt depressed also, but it doesn't reflect in my writings though. But poetry
But
really sustained
when
me.
we are
Poetry
when
gave
we
me
are
that
in
strength.
pain, we can write. We can. It's very
Yes.
effective. We can write very nicely. Very, you
More
know.
sensitive. You're more sensitive then.
Yes.
And that was one, definitely one turning point in my life when I started writing more mature, more reflective kind of poetry. And apart from that, I've also been through, I think all poets at some point in time do have a writer's block. I think we all authors, poets, everybody experiences that at, I mean, at a certain phase of their life, certain time of their life. And I think that's something that happened to me last year. I did have that for a month or two. I felt like I couldn't write anymore. And I was getting a little depressed. I don't know why,
Little
but
depression.
it
Yeah.
was because of the lockdown, maybe. I felt a little depressed.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
it was my family then. I would say my
It's
family,
normal.
they
It's
were very
normal.
supportive. Yes. My family helped to get me out of that. And
Yeah,
then within a month or two, I was able to write again. So that was quite a phase in my life where I felt I couldn't write for a month. And I felt
yeah.
like somewhere there's something that's holding me back from myself, you
The
know?
very important is the love from our family that will keep us
Yes.
going.
So that was exactly.
That's
So
true.
writer's block was definitely something that I think everybody, all of us go through. And it wasn't too long in my case. Thankfully, it was just a
That's
month.
good.
It didn't last
You have to be
2 years.
thankful that it's just a month or two because it's
Yeah.
really a big problem for the family. And,
Oh, yes,
you have to
absolutely.
overcome. I remember that there will be a lady new to me because she
Mhm.
kept on messaging me. I thought she was a man. So I just never,
Oh,
yeah, I thought because I didn't look at her profile. And then my God, she said, Helen, are you done traveling? Because every time that she messaged me, actually she's an Indian, but she's now living in the UK. Are you done
okay.
traveling? "Yeah, I'm traveling now. I feel she felt that I am non-stop traveling. So she said, Ikaw, why?
Yeah.
Anything that I can help you? I will be interviewing her this next week because
Oh,
she shared about her depression and she writes book about depression and she teaches also how to overcome depression. It's very interesting. We're
that's wonderful.
just become friends and
Yes.
I realized that why she's interested with me. I feel lucky also that why she's connecting me. So she wants to be, you go, do you want me to interview you? Because she's not telling me. So she said, yes, that would be great. I will let the world know about you because, is
Yes.
he experienced that. Maybe it's like a very tragic moment in her life, but then she's able to
Yes.
overcome it and she became a teacher and she became you know even a speaker. So
Oh,
very
that's
interesting.
wonderful. That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah,
The
yeah.
transformation, that
Beautiful also.
transformation,
It's very
that
nice.
metamorphosis has to happen in every life, I think. Everyone goes through that metamorphosis. And you know what? It is these sad moments of your life that actually make you grow into a much better human being.
You
And you
need
become
to
more compassionate.
undergo these things because you
Yes,
will not be brave. You cannot be strong if you haven't undergo such, miseries, tribulations, and all that.
absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. So now I think I need to ask you for another poem. Then
Oh,
I will try
definitely.
to find my work also because we still have a lot of time and I will be reading my poem also.
What do you want me to read? Tell me, what kind of a poem do you want me to read to you?
Is there inspirational one or
Okay, I'll read
love
one.
poem? Whatever you like.
All right. All right. I'll read The Mist out. The Mist. This is about lovers, but it has a tragic ending, of course. But I'll read
Okay.
it anyways.
Even
It's
the sad
beautiful
poems is,
otherwise.
very beautiful also.
Yes, I think there are more emotions in the sad poems than
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
very positive happy poems. The emotions are
Yes.
more in the poignant poems, like they say.
Because
So
sad
this one
poems
is
is so very,
titled,
effective.
yes, this one's titled The Mist. The name of the
Okay.
poem is The Mist. We leave our longings in palms of a dappled dawn. We leave our longings in the palms of a dappled dawn, in the mist of a forest's frown, in the crackle of warm winter twigs. December rolls her carpet in, yet unsurely. Diamond coronets drape the severed pine knolls. My train to Shimla rumbles in. My train to Shimla rumbles in. Shimla is a hill station, actually, for
Yeah.
those of you who don't know.
Okay.
So, my train to Shimla rumbles in, screeching to a halt, heavy with musk of the Shivalik range. Shivalik are the mountain range.
Okay.
So, heavy with the musk of the Shivalik range, it empties itself onto the waiting platform, gulping in passengers by the dozen. Two men rolled their wheeled suitcases and pot bellies into the train. So they rolled their wheeled suitcases and their pot bellies in. A vendor thrusts in a few cups of tea, twirling its spicy flavors through the open window. I sit through it all. The whistle, whirring of its engine, waving hands, a blur. The train chugs out, following my gaze, following the trees that stand to whispering attention in the breeze. We cross Kalka. Now, Kalka is another little hill station, a very small little hill station close to Shimla. So we cross Kalka, a wooden bridge, one of the many 800 bridges during our journey. There is no haste, so we prefer the toy train. Now, that's a little toy train. They call it a toy train, which actually goes really slow like a toy train. It takes you through the
But it's
hills.
running.
Through the
It's not a
hills.
toy.
Yes, it's not really a toy though. So there is no haste, so we prefer the toy train, or so it's called. Instead of just driving down 5 hours straight, the boughs hang with perfume and possibilities, memories of sojourns we had hoped to take, and some that we did embark upon. Would he be waiting at the next hairpin bend? Now she's talking about her lover. Would my lover, would he be waiting at the next hairpin bend, where the air almost sucks you in, where breath is no longer mist? Words haunt the monolith of my thoughts, where cavernous membranes are riddled with memories. This must be the last halt, I tell myself. Am I the sojourner here? Let's do something quirky, perhaps a free fall. Then will the mist cover me too? Then will the mist cover me too?
Yeah, that's
So
odd.
apparently, it's about this lover, this beloved. She's lost her dear one, her lover. She's lost him. It's not mentioned in the poem. I have left that to the readers to
Yeah,
guess
yeah, you
how he
had
died.
me.
But she says, "Can I have a free fall and just will the mist cover me too, like it covers her lover because he's no more in this
I love
world?"
your
And
style. I
she
love your style. It's
Thank
very
you.
nice.
Yeah, Helen. And
Another
you're going to
good that you've
enjoy this.
written.
You're going to enjoy this book. I can assure you it's
I
going to be
think
worth a
so.
read.
I think so because
Yes.
there is a unique style from the writer. So it's gonna help also to those who are, poets who can, there are a lot of styles in writing, and they can use some similar to that.
Yes, and now I'm writing a lot of prose poetry. So I'm not writing too much of rhymed poetry, though I do write sometimes. I do write
Yeah,
rhymed poetry as well, but I want to keep my style fluid. I don't want to restrict myself to
that's
one
nice.
style.
That's nice.
You know?
For me, that's a kind of intelligent writing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think it's very important to be what to say, uh, fluid and to be able to express yourself in different genres of poetry, not just
That's
confine
all.
yourself to
Not
one.
only just in because sometimes there are people that only the same style that you don't want to read anymore because there's no thrill
Absolutely,
anymore in the writing. So
very
it's very
true, very
important
true.
that you have different style and you can share it with other poets because it will be a learning for them also.
Yes, and now we have another book launch on the 26th, Helen. So I had one on the 16th for my book in Chandigarh, where I stay. And then we moved to Delhi after 10 days. So on the
What?
26th, I have another book launch there. So
Oh, very
I'm going to
good.
give this, yes,
Yeah.
I'm going to give this book a lot of publicity that way as well. We were traveling to different cities.
So is
And
it
oh,
far
and I need
from?
to tell you about the cover of my book. You didn't ask me about the cover.
Yes, why is that? Why?
Okay. Well, this cover is actually a
Yeah, yeah,
painting of a very dear friend. Maybe I did tell you in one of our conversations, a
yeah.
dear friend called Timothy Payton. I think he's our common
I
friend.
didn't know that you're connected to him because we're the
He-
same administrators in the uh, uh, passion of poetry. Yeah.
Oh, he's a very wonderful human being, and he's been very close to me. I think I really feel he's almost like my. I mean, we've never met, Helen. I've never met him in person,
Oh,
but I feel
really?
so strongly connected to him, so strongly connected to him.
He's
And
nice. I
my
can see
earlier
in
book,
our
yeah,
conversation in the group chat. He's nice.
he's
But
very nice, and
we're not talking
he
so much like we do with Dennis, like Sarfraz, Dennis Brown, Sai, because it
yes.
seems that he is just not so long in passion in the pop.
True. And he was one day, I think he was probably, I watched one of his programs and I looked in the background, he had these amazing paintings. And
Oh,
then
I
it struck
didn't
me,
know
I said,
that.
oh, he's a wonderful artist as well,
But
very
I think
talented.
I am going to interview him also because he's a founder of one group.
Yes,
And that is what in my mind. Because, um, there are a lot of experiences. If you handle a group, you have a lot of
yes,
experiences already. Not just a poetess, but, not just a poet, but your experience with interaction with other people, international people, that you need to
yes,
adjust. Yeah. So it's very
absolutely. I
interesting.
think that's, yes.
Now
And
I plan to read you my work. Actually, this is about what we are discussing just a while ago. That
mhm,
regarding when will be the right time to to unite.
oh, I'd love to hear your poem. I'd
Yeah.
love to hear it. Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
lovely.
Thank you so much. Uh, okay, the title is When Will Be the Right Time? When will be the right time? We thoroughly ponder how we can sure. Oh my God, this is not because this is an acrostic. When will be the
Okay.
right time, but in acrostic way. But there is the original. When will be the right time? That is not acrostic. This one.
Mm-hmm.
When the right time will be, my pen cries to utter what my heart silently murmurs. Would it cover what my thoughts wish to speak for? Will there be an ending to this abyss of distress that somehow would change to unity and happiness? Would be the writer's inks have enough power to transform the dusk into love and light vastness? Nothing impossible. That's the believers are standing for. Would the little ink left in our pens show its own essence? Would be the calling of our passion be also a part of uniting nations? Can we speak out not to bash, but access to peace? Why can't we pray for every race, culture, and belief? That we aren't here to fight and towards its principle, we do have respect. That whenever we talk softly and not harshly, we can mellow down hatreds. That it is futile to use our fingers to point out others' faults and mistakes. Why are we so inclined to side with whom we stand for? It's time to look for the lives of our brethren and not to feed our hunger for power as we dwell on earth just temporarily. That whether we like it or not, we will leave this place bringing nothing and handling empty. Why we can't understand that we might be right and we might also be wrong. There are no sides for our sides which are completely bright and gloom. There'll always be a way to find our equilibrium. Why we can't go out and be an instrument for unity and oneness. For us to fight this apocalypse we are facing at the moment, and we will continue to be facing if we won't ask for wisdom and deep faith. My heart is a yearning in ardent. How about yours? I firmly believe we can have our share, whatever our status in life. We may be rich or poor. As those people who are blind now, can be a temple of love in the future. If we won't start it now, then when will the right time is? Love and sacrifice for once. The world is needing us. Show your talents not only in a contest, but in a context of unselfishness. Let us be a source of love in the form of art our one God has bestowed upon us. That's it.
Oh,
Thank you.
so beautiful. What a soulful poem this is. I
I
love it.
was
And,
just calling
you
for
know, I
you to
can
do it.
feel the love flowing through your words. It's so beautiful.
Thank
It
you.
brought tears in my eyes and makes my eyes well with tears. So emotional and so
So
beautiful.
emotional. And there are a lot
Mm.
more poems that, it's like a true to life story. I think we can talk a lot because there's no sign that we have few minutes left. But I will try
Yes,
to, those powerful poems that I have, because
yeah,
you have other, other viewers. So even if I have, you know, read it so many times just to inspire, because this is in, women month. What? How do we call
yes. This
that?
is yes. This we just had Women's Day a few days ago.
Yeah, and
In fact,
this week it's gonna
Helen,
be
I
a
was just
month.
thinking.
Yeah,
Yes, in fact, yes, it's been more than probably a week or so,
yeah.
maybe a month. Yes.
Oh,
My
yeah. We
time
need to
flies and we're
celebrate
working
that.
people lose track of time. But today is a very, very important day, Helen, because it's the World Poetry Day. So it's
Yes,
wonderful that I'm hearing your poems as well.
yeah.
Apart from my own, I get to hear your poems, which is wonderful. We're truly
Thank you so
celebrating
much. This
World
one is
Poetry Day.
really, it's my life story, and I want this to share with you, because for you to know how what I have, gone, what are the sacrifice that I have, y- passed in my life.
Yes.
Okay, the title is Nothing Impossible in the Heaven Beneath. Actually, because of I always read this. I almost memorized this already, but that's
Oh, that's
really good to
wonderful.
share. Yeah.
I'm not good at memorizing, I'm not good. I can't memorize my poems. I think that's wonderful that you can. You could
I think that,
memorize it.
I kept on reading this because I want that, it's a very powerful poem, I believe, and I know that you will like
Yes,
it. Nothing
I'm sure.
impossible in the heaven beneath. My children are my golden treasure, bringing back my thoughts to my yesteryears. My story began when I was a teenage mother. Through breastfeeding, I nurtured my first son till no milk from me I could squeeze upon. I wish to feed him nutrients he essentially needs to abound. I lacked to provide him. My world seemingly didn't go round. It bled my heart as my purse was thin and empty. When those were only covered by sacks, that was how petty we were. And nothing could be found in every corner of our dinky shelter. Even tiny ashes of regrets couldn't be found in there. How bare it was representing me. From there, I just learned to dream. Though not for me, but for them. I believe it's not late to create a nest for my coming children. Behind that huge mountain, I whispered my wishes for them. At night, as I gazed up the skies, as I asked the stars to guide me in heading my way. I wish to be one of them, glittering and sparklingly. Yes, it was never too late to build my elusive dreams. I heard the whisper of the bees carried by an optimistic breeze. There will be a beautiful days coming ahead. And I was motivated by those dreams. I started to carry sack on my shoulder. I climbed mountains. I shouted used clothing for sale. I made donuts though I wasn't good enough. House to house, I was selling any stuff, just enough to have prayer and offering for a Sunday mass. And I started to praise so intensely. I dazzled myself to the city. I know I could be more than me. My potential was heavy. If they can do, why can't I? I grabbed opportunities knocking on my door. I started to level up and learn for more. I patiently carried my life. I embraced obstacles and strive. My love for my children was simply my inspiration. They energized me behind my tiredness. I could afford to grin and bear behind difficulties. They were the reason why I had to go out, rain or shine, as I could not stop dreaming even for a short while. Yet life never stopped teasing me. Tears were entwined in my way. Below the belt, I was being hit. My softness was abused by the wicked. For more, I learned life. And I even learned to write. I worked hard without limit. In my work, I poured my spirit. I gambled myself bravely to the challenge of this world. My journey has never been smooth. I tackled every inch of my worth. Yet I never whined. I continued to walk with faith, come what may. Though I fell and stumbled, it's an arduous part of my path to cross. It had to be that way, yet life was still good. And like a mother eagle, I ventured across the sea. I soared to the highest sky, rising to the great heights. The storm has befallen, but I never been ravaged by my undying courage. Another day, another sunshine. To humanity I have to bind. My guide is my daughter, watching me from heaven. In my womb also she suffered the indescribable pain I have been. Now she is the most amorous angel. With her candid cheers, she shielded me with her wings. I am fearless, unafraid to venture my strength to this universe. Nothing impossible in the heaven beneath. Now I savored my own self. In every trial I never tell until I could give them that mountain where I started to create my dreams. They are my treasure. My golden treasure is my five loving children. They are preparing my exquisite crown as I am their endearing queen. That's it. Thank
Oh,
you.
this is so touching, so poignant. It's
So
really, really, I mean,
you can
I feel
imagine
so
what I've been through
emotional.
in life. That it throws me
Yes,
until such time that I am into this.
I can understand. And I think a mother, I think that's the biggest role we have as women, are being a mother, a good mother. And I think if you, the loss of a child can be, it can be just terrible, I think. I know.
Yeah,
I
so
know
that's why
how old
I
was
am
your
not
daughter?
afraid to venture my strength. Yeah, if
How old was she, Helen,
God,
when you lost your daughter? How old was she when you lost her?
she's less than 2 months because because she also suffered in my womb. So
Oh,
she's supposed to be like 26 years old now.
okay. Wow. That's
So
wonderful.
life
But
was
she's
still
looking up, she's looking down from heaven, and she's very proud of that mother and that gorgeous, beautiful mother. And I'm sure she's showering her blessings on you now from there.
I
I'm
think
proud of you.
so.
She is.
So it's really good. That's why everywhere I am, even in the vessel, and even wherever I am, if I can find, time to talk with someone who are, they're sharing about their pains, and after that, I shared my own journey also, and they said, "Oh my God, mine is, just very small compared to yours, but." You were able
Yes.
to pass all
Yes.
those things. So there's no way that they cannot. It's a kind of inspiring them.
And
So
you know, Helen, coming to this, I can remember and I can recall those memories with my mother, just like you had this
yeah,
loss in your family. I've had a similar loss. So I know how it feels. I can feel your pain, I can feel
yeah.
it. Because
But
of course I lost my mom when she was quite old, of course. She had and it was detected in the last stages, you know.
How
But when she
old
was going
how
through,
old she was when
she
she
was
left
on,
you?
she was in her late 70s, you know.
Okay.
So I mean, that was not like she wasn't too young when she got it, and it
Yeah.
was just in a matter. It happened very quickly. Everything happened too quickly.
Yeah.
But
You
you
are
know,
not
she was my
prepared.
greatest. Yes, she was my greatest inspiration. You know, in fact, I wouldn't be a writer today. I think Helen, if it weren't for my mother,
You know,
I
she's
wouldn't be
able to
writing.
raise you well.
Yes, and she was a professor of English, you know. She was a professor of
Yeah.
English herself. So it was always her dream that her daughter, because she wasn't an author, but it was her dream that I would be an author someday or a poet someday. And to her
Maybe it took
surprise,
you some time
I,
to adjust her loss.
and she was so happy and proud when I brought out my first book, you know. She was still there, she was still alive at that time, and she was so proud and happy for me
Yeah,
for that
that's
first
it.
book, Quintessential Outpourings. And I'm living
Sorry.
her dream. I think writing poetry, I have still have her as my inspiration, you know. And I'm
Yeah.
living her dream. I'm writing because I know she's happy there for me, and
That's why
that's
that
what
we
she
have
always
to
wanted.
live every inch of our journey in in writing or whatever talent God has given to you.
Absolutely. I think it's not, we're just blessed souls, you know, to be writers. We're just blessed. I think not
Yes.
everyone can be a writer, and God is
Yes.
giving us this opportunity to reach out to the world and
Yeah.
tell them that, you know, this is what this is what poetry is all about, and
Yeah.
we have to be responsible
Because
in our
it's a
writings. You know?
gift. Because there are a lot of intelligent people also, but they can't write. Because poetry is not just a knowledge; it comes from the heart.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
That's why I see we are the most sensitive individuals, very emotional, very sensitive. I know I can cry at the slightest things. You know, we're very emotional people. Now, when you're reading, I was getting tears in my eyes. So that's what
You're
we are.
emotional.
And I think we're very, poets are the most beautiful souls. I think they have the most beautiful souls,
That's
and there's
true.
nothing superficial about poets, because we are who we are. We portray that in our actions, in our words, in our expressions. You know, we are not we are unlike the rest of the people, I would say. We are just who we are. We're very genuine, very warm people, you know.
You know, you're a very beautiful soul, and tonight you are gleaming. You shimmer.
Thank you so much, Helen.
You are a
And
big star.
I'm sending you a virtual tight hug from India.
Yeah, thank you.
And I
Likewise. So,
really hope
yeah,
I hope we meet someday soon, you know. I really hope so.
of course. And this will
Thank
be
you.
a start
Really?
of, more closer friendship because we're just friends, but we are not talking friends. So
Yes, yes.
I only admire your post. Oh, your when you post your photos. Oh, it's just beautiful.
I
So
haven't
that's
been doing that very recently. I've stopped. Otherwise, I used to
yeah. I
post a
think
lot of myself.
2 years ago, you have a lot of photos come.
Not yes,
Yeah, I can
yes.
see that.
I love photography. In fact, that's also one of my passions, you know. I love clicking pictures of myself, of things around me. I think
Yeah,
that's again, you know, people who are creative, they make good photographers as well, I think.
that's true. They
So,
love art. So
yes.
that's it. So look, how our conversation flow this smoothly. It's just not
Absolutely. I
like
mean,
an interview.
it doesn't seem like an interview. It's like I'm
Yeah,
almost feeling like I'm sitting in your living room and
we're
we are
just
having a little
talking.
chat
Yeah.
across the table. You know,
And
it's
I
like
love
that.
that because the result when we see that or when we watch that in a big screen, it's really beautiful. Yeah, just try to
Yes.
watch it. Yeah, in a big screen because
Oh,
I
I
used to,
must.
yeah.
Yes, yes. I will definitely be watching this. In fact, you will be uploading this now, and
Yeah.
you'll be.
Okay,
That's
so
wonderful.
I am so grateful, and it's my great pleasure
Oh,
to have such a certain Miss Vandita Dharni. So thank you. You are now a darling of Filipino Poets and Blossoms. They will watch this interview, and they will also be inspired with our, discussion, our conversation, the life that we
yeah.
have, you know, been throughout. So it's really good to have you. And I
And my
hope,
message, and my message to everyone would be
yeah,
just spread
please
love
do.
and peace. Just spread love and peace, because that is something, and keep the faith. Keep the faith. That's very important, because that is something that we all need right now, is faith and love and hope, you know. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for
Thank
this
you so
beautiful evening.
much.
It's evening
And
here.
this
It's
is
around
one of
7 in
my
the evening.
favorite interviews. So thank you so much.
Oh,
After
I'm
this, I will
blessed
be
to be.
uploading this to YouTube, and maybe an hour from now, you can watch this.
Wonderful. Thank you so much,
Thank
Helen.
you.
And thank you to
Bye.
all the viewers also who will be watching it.
Yeah,
Thank you in advance to the viewers
bye
also.
bye.
Lots of love. Bye.
Love
Take care.
you and take
Thank
care.
you. Love you too. Bye. And God bless you.
God bless you.
Bye.